Friend, where did I put my phone?
I'm good.
Oh, do you? Oh, fantastic.
Cool. We're already in the kitchen, yo. 3 minutes live.
Yes.
10 minutes live. Do you know about this?
A little bit.
No?
Yes.
Because of this?
Yes. Yes. Me throwing that, it was in December. Yeah. Let me just see something, friend, quickly. So we're just cooking friends in your freezer, rainbow wraps. Gentlemen, welcome again. We're about 2 minutes out, but I just wanted to find out, oh, can I get tape as well? I just wanted to find out, it is Future Ed and not Future ED. Future Ed, perfect. Yes, boy. Wow, it's a cop car. It's a police car. I'm so sorry, not a cop car, police car.
Got 2 minutes, so make it chop.
1.5 to live, yeah?
1.5.
Yeah?
Do you think we have time to get the food on the couch?
Now, with them?
Yeah.
Probably not, because Vardy's already talking.
Kids, maybe get it by the TV.
Welcome to Monday edition of Afternoon Express. My name is Vali Sadembe, and for this Motivational Monday, we've got an hour-long concept driving all the entrepreneurs, business people out there. And then later we touch base with clinical psychologists to find out. No. Now you put me under pressure. Yes, I'm sitting with the gents. Business, honey. Panda, push up, play, hustling.
So let's talk all things money.
All things money. With them training. It's more training, business training. Thank you. Oh, thank you. It's a Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, shit. And a very warm welcome to you. This is Afternoon Express and specifically your Monday edition. That's right, that means all things motivational this Monday from me, Vali Sadembe. We'll be focusing on business empowerment, training of the entrepreneurs, and also how to get up and go when it comes to starting that business. But first and foremost, let's say hello to Dumi in the kitchen. Happy Monday, girl.
Happy Monday, Palesa, and happy Monday, South Africa. We are starting our week off on a very amazing note today because we're making two great recipes. We're starting it off with friends in your freezer wraps, as well as custard cream cookies that we're going to be making very much later in the show. But for all the recipe details, do go to afternoonexpress.co.za. Let's get some training with Palesa in the lounge.
Thank you, Dumi. Now, CAPE BPO and Future Ed is an organization which strives to help empower our youth and combat unemployment through educating training in, of course, the core sector industries of our country. Now, joining us is Clayton Williams, the CEO designate of CAPE BPO, and, of course, Jihad Kasu, the Director of Governance of Future Ed. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, Palesa.
Now, I'm very intrigued when it comes to these organizations that both you gentlemen quite successfully run. But if I were to just start off with you, Jihad, if I were to break down what exactly is Future Ed and, of course, the CAPE BPO?
Future Ed is a community-based skills development and training provider based in Athlone, Cape Town. And what we serve to do is to try and bridge the gap between school leavers or the unemployed with the necessary skills for them to be a bit more employable. And Cape BPO, I'm sure Clayton will be far more informed to tell you a bit about them.
So we're an MPO, and we're the strategic business partner of City of Cape Town and the Western Cape government, focusing on the development and growth of the BPO sector in the Western Cape.
Now, Clayton, diving more specifically within the Cape BPO, what are the two main functions that you guys run as an organization?
Sure. So our primary mandate is to create jobs. That's what we held accountable from a funder perspective. But in terms of our two key functions, one is the promotion of the Western Cape as an offshore destination in source markets like the UK, Australia and the US. And the other arm of our business is the skills development aspect, where we design, deploy and partner with industry to create skills development interventions and deploy them into our sector.
Very necessary, especially right now, as South Africa is going through a bit of a shake-up when it comes to not only employment, but the economy as a whole. So then, Jihad, when you were to look at the youth, what exactly do these organizations offer them?
Well, if we look at the devastation caused by the coronavirus now, there's been massive loss of jobs across various sectors. And as a skills provider and a trainer, we try to look at the industry that would be able to plug that gap very quickly. And through our research, we found that the call center or the BPO sector is that industry. It's the biggest job creator. And right now, there's far more job opportunities than people ready to take up those opportunities. So we provide an accelerated work readiness program where we equip them with soft skills such as confidence, business conversational skills, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and how to draft a CV, how to conduct yourself in an interview, so that it gives you that one step up to make use of an employment opportunity when it comes your way.
It seems as though you gentlemen have taken everything that we learned in high school when it comes to life orientation, but you're stepping it up a notch, especially within the call center space. So then, Clayton, if we were to look at just the longevity of it, how long have these programs been running?
So this one in particular is since kind of September last year, and it was conceptualized over a cup of coffee when we looked at one of the sector challenges that we were facing from a BPO perspective, which was concentration of the BPO operators in historic traditional BPO space, your Cape Town CBD, Claremont, Century City, and the fact that we were simply running out of space on our current growth trajectory. And that's where we started speaking to Future Ed around decentralized community-based models, because the operator community was really responding to that notion, and we came up in the space of probably a half an hour of a coffee chat, this concept of a day of 1,000 opportunities, where on our behalf, Future Ed would reach out to the community of Athlone, and we would bring, from an operator perspective, the demand, the jobs. And this culminated in an event which was organized in 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, where we had 6 or 7 of our major operators all recruiting the staff that Jihad and his team had trained in the same venue. So quite a watershed moment for us.
Absolutely, and it seems like you really are making a difference within these vulnerable communities. But if we were to continue just talking about these opportunities that you keep bringing up, what are some of the career opportunities that are up for grabs, and how does this then change the youth's life?
It's a very good question. So as Jihad alluded to, the BPO sector is experiencing phenomenal growth, and if I look at what makes it attractive, it's low barrier to entry, so a basic matric with the ability to converse with an individual as a primary prerequisite. And in terms of job opportunities, we've got thousands of examples of agents transitioning into other careers within the BPO sector, so team leaders, trainers, ops managers, and we've got individuals that have been in the sector for kind of 5 years that are now running 1,000-seat operations. Sure. So many case studies to evidence the growth prospects within the BPO sector.
And to add on to that, there's a misconception that the BPO sector is only the call center industry, but BPO stands for business process outsourcing, which is much more than just call center agents operating telephones. With the growth of social media platforms and how businesses engage with their consumers through social media, we have social media monitoring services that are being provided and conducted through our call centers as well. So they have to make sure that the content sensitivity gets screened before it's posted. So we've got a lot of operators that are providing those kinds of services that isn't a telephone call center job, but it is a business process outsourcing job. So these are some of the examples of specific jobs that is available within the industry.
Absolutely, and it seems like this is a perfect opportunity as well for you to get stuck into the global industries as well, the global market. Those companies that do need the help when it comes to growth, coming down to South Africa and all outsourcing that talent and those brains down here. So then on that note, how then can everyone get involved?
Well, they can go to our Instagram page, which is Future Ed Cape Town. They can also send their CVs if they are looking for opportunities within the call center or the BPO industry to bpo@future-ed.co.za, and we've got an admin team that will get back to them quickly.
It sounds incredible. I mean, Clayton, from yourself, what are some of the hopes that you want to go into 2021 and some of the real change you want to see happen?
So I think continued growth. We're seeing massive expansion typically in the UK market, but we haven't quite broken into the US market. So our entrenchment of our value proposition in the US market, and with that comes, like I said, exponential growth. So improving on our existing run rate, and hopefully doubling the size of the sector within the next 5 years.
Sounds brilliant, gentlemen. Thank you so much for touching base on Afternoon Express, truly giving us that motivation that we need this Monday. Now, combating unemployment and empowering our youth are causes that we at Afternoon Express are very passionate about. Now, we look forward to the work that Cape BPO and Future Ed as they progress through the provinces, and hopefully by the end of 2021, all 9 provinces will be benefiting from their amazing work. Now, on social media, we are posing this question. Sometimes we have to try and do the absolute best through very tough circumstances and situations. So if you had to go for it, drop it all and start your very own business, what would you do? Use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. But coming up, we're heading over to the kitchen with Chef Dumi as we're making a delicious rainbow wrap. Welcome back to the Afternoon Express kitchen, where we've got a secret chef with us.
act of sharing a meal has become so much more than simply eating, especially when enjoyed with your loved ones. Aside from being able to prepare healthier meals, cooking together is fun, exciting, and educational. All vital elements to help develop healthy bodies, minds, and especially for our kids. Thanks to the Friends in Your Freezer campaign brought to you by Sea Harvest and McCain, we're putting the fun back in serving up delicious, fresh, and crunchy, healthy rainbow wraps.
Yum.
Balisa, we're not even just making our rainbow wraps with normal wraps, but we're actually using rice paper. And as you can see, I've also decided just to add a bit of extra hands here today in the form of my little somebody. South Africa, I've been saying that he's in Cape Town. He is here. He's going to be cooking with us today.
So I'm going to get... boy? Are you ready to get cooking?
Awesome. I'm going to get you started, Papa. All you must do is just mix this one into here. And this is just sweet chili sauce. We've got some chutney, we've got some mayonnaise. All you need to do is just mix them together, né? Are you ready? Okay, you can go ahead and mix them.
And what am I doing? You know, clearly when we have to call on reinforcements, there must be quite a bit that has to go into this
Quite
recipe.
a bit, Balisa. So today we're using our Sea Harvest crispy and chunky fillets here. So all I'm going to do is basically put them into the oven and bake these as per the package instructions. So it literally is that simple. It shows you exactly what to do on the packaging. So all we're going to do is put these in the oven to bake.
Okay.
It does say on the packaging about 15 to 20 minutes. And while that bakes up, basically once they're done, this is what we'll have. 2 crispy golden fillets that we're going to be basically using in our dish today. But Papa, let me actually do this. Let me help you. We're going to put all of this together, the mayonnaise.
So is this really what happens to me in your house, ekishini? You say you want help, you say that, boy, come cook along with me, and he just stands there to get ready to eat.
Basically, that's all. He just wants to eat. He doesn't want all this manual labor, so I'll get working on my side. You can actually start julienning our cucumber for us there. We don't want the seeds and the watery side. We just want mainly the skin and the firmer parts. And then in the meantime, I'm going to get our rice paper ready because this is where we're going to wrap everything together. Let me basically just add a bit of water. Some people want to soak them in water, but I do suggest that if you are using rice paper, rather just put a little bit of water on it, coat it on the sides, and then take it out of the water. If it's too soaked up, then it becomes harder to manage. So now that it's got some water on it, I'm going to leave it on the side there so that it basically just softens up all on its own. It needs about 5 seconds or so. So I'm going to leave these on the side in the meantime.
Brilliant.
I'm going to start prepping our fillets that are basically going to go inside of our wrap. So we've got here some McCain green beans, we've got some carrots, and then we've also got some red pepper that we've also just julienned to obviously mimic what you've done there with your cucumber.
Love that.
And then all we do is we cut our Sea Harvest fillets into nice, almost 1 centimeter long, thick batons, and these are going to be wrapped inside.
Beautiful.
How are you doing over there, Papa?
Is it going well, boy?
Is it going well?
I'm busy putting in that elbow grease, whipping up that delicious dipping sauce that we're going to be enjoying. But
Correct.
as you said, I've already gone ahead and added this,
Perfect.
the cucumber as you like it.
Thank
and
you
that
very
exactly is
much.
just going to mimic the other ingredients that go into this rainbow
Correct.
wrap. And that's what it's all about, creating a rainbow, creating that mixture of colors within the wrap. So it's not too boring for the little ones when they're enjoying.
Correct, because we eat with our eyes, and this is also for kids as well. Children are all about those colors. The more colors they see, the more intrigued they get. So they actually wonder what's in there. Yes, Papa?
Salad.
Yes.
Oh,
Basically, you see, he even picks up that these are basically salad ingredients.
Yeah.
So instead of having them as a simple basic salad, we're now having it as a wrap. And this now goes into our rice paper wrap and basically gets served atop. You can basically serve it with a dipping sauce if you'd like. You can serve it as is if you like. Obviously, you don't want any additional flavorants and stuff like that. You can have it as is. Let me actually get started with another rice.
There's also something quite nostalgic about this McCain range and the Sea Harvest range as well. You know, bringing the two together with the
Correct.
veggies, with the fish. It almost reminds me about when I was Filthy's age, you know, wanting those fish fingers and all those
Yes.
yummy, crunchy, crispy ingredients that is so simple to put together. You pop it in the oven and you're good to go.
That's it, Balisa, and that's the one thing I love about both the Sea Harvest range and the McCain range. The fact that they're frozen at their freshest, meaning you are getting quality, you are getting all those nutrients, and you're basically getting the taste as well, because you don't lose that because they basically freeze it at their freshest. And that's another thing, that they've got such a range that you don't actually have to be stuck with only these.
Yeah.
You could use any of their other ingredients that are in their range as well.
Sounds delicious. Shoki boy, are you excited to get eating? Are you excited? Oh my goodness, he has your face, he has your personality. I know South Africa, he's a bit quiet right now, but do you remember the last time we had him on the show? Boy had the personality and everything, talking about getting it from his mama.
And the thing about it is, sorry to cut you off. The thing about it is, it's just because he's nervous now. But I'm sure during the show, South Africa, if you do hear some sounds here and there, it is him.
We know who
Don't
it
be
is.
shocked. He is visiting, so yeah, he will be making those sounds here and there.
Lovely. And throughout this conversation from the top of the show, we're talking about businesses and people being able to empower themselves in that way. Now, this is also another way that one can empower themselves. You might not be cooking it up throughout your business, but this is essentially making sure you've got the nourishment
Correct.
and all the nutrients that you need to be able to over-excel and perform when it comes to doing your job and doing it well.
Correct, Palisa. You are very correct. And the best part about it is we get all those nutrients, all that we need to stay alert and stay awake through these nutrients that we're putting into our wraps now. So you could basically zhuzh it up however you'd like. Use any of the other ingredients that McCain has. You know, any of the other veggie items there. Okay, you can pour it over.
He wants to do it.
Me, the sous chef has said it. And you just basically go in with your dipping sauce, South Africa, and that is basically it. Our our wraps are ready, light and healthy and delicious, and we've got all those nutrients in there, and they won't even know.
Brilliant. I love Mama's little helper too.
So South Africa, if you want to get your hands on these lovely recipes, do go on to afternoonexpress.co.za.
Sea Harvest have brought fun and creativity back into our kitchen. Reimagine mealtime with hashtag Friends in Your Freezer and stand a chance to win one of 10 PlayStation 5 consoles when you buy any one Sea Harvest and one McCain product. Don't forget to keep your till slip. T's and C's apply.
Now, trust me, if you also in the business of starting your business, you are going to need all those omega-3 brain foods in your diet. And speaking of which, after the break, I had the incredible opportunity, Dumi, during December break, during the festive season, to touch base with the founders of Sisterhood Success Club. And they definitely dropped some jewels on starting my business. All of that coming up. welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, when it comes to life insurance or funeral plans, these are the kinds of policies you would only claim for maybe once or twice in your lifetime. So it's understandable that many of us, myself included, aren't 100% sure how these claims process actually works. So if you'd have a life insurance plan in place, then I invite you to join me on Wednesday when I sit down with the experts and get a full step-by-step breakdown on what to do and how to do it. These are the types of conversations we all need to have, and there is no such thing as a dumb question. We're here to learn and be empowered, Mzansi. Protect what matters to you with insurance from Standard Bank. SMS LIFE to 31492 for a quote that fits your needs. Now, from finance to more money talk, I had an opportunity, the privilege rather, to sit down with two sensational sisters, the founders of Sisterhood Success Club, and they gave me all the nitty-gritty on what I can do to make sure my startup is a success. Watch this. After experiencing their own changes and challenges that this year has brought on all of us, two sisters decided to get into gear and make some good changes and sacrifices. And they're here to share their knowledge and skills to empower and equip women to make their business a success. We welcome Cash Parker and Karen Clegg from Brand Authentic to the studio. Welcome to the Loft, sisters.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa.
Happy to be here.
Now, this is a family that I would be so proud to be a part of. The brains behind not only Brand Authentic, but Sisterhood Success, that club that you guys have going on. I mean, I think everyone just wants in. So what was the inspiration behind starting this?
So we started Brand Authentic during lockdown, and it was a platform to for digital marketing and social media marketing. And we created an Instagram account which really grew and attracted a very good engaged following. And then as time went by and we really started engaging with our followers and our community members, we decided to take it to the next level and start a Facebook group called the Sisterhood Success Club. And that is where the fire really started. And we started giving our sisters some tips and advice on how to start up small businesses and really how to keep motivated, and people started engaging with us so much, and that's when we rediscovered our passion for business coaching and motivational speaking, so to speak, on a social platform. And yeah, we grew our Sisterhood Success Club in the space of 2 months to 2,000 members.
Wow. Now that is truly some rapid growth, but it truly speaks to the need. A lot of people, especially coming out of 2020, they just want help. So Karen, I have to touch base with you. Starting a business can be very daunting. So knowing that you two sisters did so successfully, what tips and tricks can you give the rest of us in starting a business?
Okay, so I actually have a 5-step process that I follow, and anybody else wanting to start their own business, I give them the same 5 steps. So when you start your business, the first thing that you want to do is you want to do a brain dump, or what I call a brain dump. And essentially what this is, you want to get all your ideas, all your brainstorm, you want to get it out on paper, and this actually allows for you to find that clarity around your idea. And the second thing that you want to do is you want to draw up a business plan.
Okay.
And a lot of people I find in talking to our members that they skip this very crucial step. So I remember back in the day when I was in high school, I had a teacher who said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's
absolutely.
it, right? So don't skip this really crucial step. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but draw up a business plan. And when you draw up a business plan, it forces you to focus on what are going to be the costs involved. Are you going to have to look for funding? How are you going to be marketing your product? How will you be selling it, and what will your price points be? So it forces you to look at the really important aspects of planning a business. And then the third thing that I want to draw attention to is that you have to look at branding. So for example, branding is your logo or the look and feel of your website. And what we find is a lot of people get stuck at this step. They get so caught up trying to have the perfect tagline and the perfect logo that actually holds them back from starting their business. So what I want to tell our girls is that just get started. Figure out a tagline, figure out your color scheme and so forth. It will change and most likely evolve as your business grows, but don't let it stop you from just getting started.
Yeah, and it seems like getting started has to be one of the most daunting tasks and difficult tasks, but I think with those tools and tips and tricks, it's easy enough, or, know, we guiding us quite nicely to the promised land, which is having your own business.
Absolutely.
Now that we've established our business and we're getting going, what then does the Sisterhood Success Club give us in terms of tools, information, and of course answering those die-hard questions?
So what we actually do in the Sisterhood Success Club, we offer a lot of business coaching. And essentially what business coaching is, we offer a lot of support, guidance, and we hold our girls accountable. And that's what we do. You need someone to hold you accountable because the entrepreneurial journey can be very lonely and you can be, you know, tempted to give up. And that's where we come in. We push you to do your very best and not to give up. And what you'll find in the Sisterhood Success Club are a lot of freebies. We believe in giving so much value. So you will find free a digital planner, a business planner. You'll find an ebook on financial management. You'll even get social media marketing courses completely free of charge. So that's the kind of thing that you'll find in the group, which is all about entrepreneurship and women empowerment.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now I also have to move on to not only are you just giving your voices on social media platforms, but you've decided to start a podcast.
Yes, we have.
So tell me a little bit about that and what you discuss.
All right, so podcasting is the hottest trend at the moment, and we have recently partnered with a podcasting expert from the States. We did a Facebook Live session with her, and it was absolutely amazing. She took us through how to start a podcast from scratch with virtually just your cell phone, and how we can get into the next big thing.
Yeah.
It's set to grow to $1 billion industry in 2021, and we really want to show our girls how they can utilize this platform to market their businesses and just put a story out there, whether they have a personal story to tell. And it's such a powerful platform because you're virtually in the ear of your ideal client.
Now, both your sisters seem so positive and so driven when it comes to what you do. Is this something that happens just naturally and inherently? And more especially for all of our viewers out there who might feel discouraged. So how can we keep positive, keep our mind in check so we're able to give out the best product?
I feel like you really need to keep motivating yourself constantly, whether it's reading inspirational books, self-development, listening to podcasts, because as an entrepreneur, you really do have to keep on top of your inner self and make sure that you are inspired to be consistent and carry on when things aren't working as well as you planned. You have to just get back on that horse, and whether it means going for a walk or taking time out with your family, but it's so important.
Thank you, ladies. I mean, I think I've grown so much from this mini masterclass. I can only imagine some of your club members, the intellect and the wealth of knowledge that you provide. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.
Now, knowledge is power, and having the right mindset and in the proper coaching and guidance, you definitely are on your way to being a thriving girl boss. Now, for more information on starting and expanding your small business, please do follow Afternoon Express's social media pages. Loving those two fabulous sisters, and I thank them once again just stopping by and giving us their wealth of knowledge during the festive season. But on social media, I wanted to find out from you, what business would you start, if any? Now, we've got Ulwandle here, who says, by helping homeless children, giving them food and shelter. If I were to scroll up some more, we also have Gamo Brown, who used the hashtag Afternoon Express by saying, if I were to start a business, it would definitely be a book club where kids and teens would come and choose a book and pay a certain amount. I'm loving these suggestions. Let's keep them coming, Mzansi, using that hashtag Afternoon Express. Now, after the break, I sit down with clinical psychologist via Zoom, Sikanda Kala, and find out some of the psychological benefits and kind of setbacks that one experiences when it comes to financial loss and unemployment. welcome back to Afternoon Express on this Motivational Monday. Joining us today via Zoom from Johannesburg is clinical psychologist Sikandar Kala, who will be chatting to us about the psychological effects of financial strain and job hunting during this particularly difficult time. Welcome back to the Loft, Sikandar.
Hi, Palisa. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Now, Sikandar, with so many people's financial sustainability and stability and job security under threat during this difficult time, have you noticed many changes, if any, particularly within people's psychological health, and how so?
Well, most certainly. I think, when we look at job difficulties in the sense of job security, financial security, it's something that really has significant impact on one's survival, one's livelihood. And I think whenever one's livelihood is threatened, we're obviously going to experience an immense amount of stress. And I think what I've most certainly seen with my patients and just generally in society is increased levels of stress, intermittent anxiety and anxiety attacks, and sometimes even a sense of hopelessness that is creeping in, which can also precipitate some form of depressive symptoms as well. So it most certainly has quite a far-reaching impact and negative impact on one's psychological health.
Quite a relatable feeling, I find, to most South Africans during this time. So what then are some of the warning signs that one's psychological health may be impacted by a lack of finances, stability, and of course that job security?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always touch on neurovegetative symptoms because I think it's one of the key things that we can use to track where we find our well-being. And from a psychological perspective, what we mean by that is your daily activities of living that revolve around routine and structure. So you look specifically at sleep, you look at appetite, your energy, your memory, your concentration, your excretion, your libido, and other forms of structure and routines throughout the day. So are you sleeping less? Could that be a sign of potential stress revolving around your job security and your financial security? Could there be a drop in your appetite? Could that then signify a sense of hopelessness, despondency, and even some form of depressive symptomology that's being precipitated? So those are some of the key things to look out for because it's things that we can all identify. We can just merely track on a day-to-day basis what is our sleep quality, what is our sleep duration, how often are we getting a meal in, what are our portion sizes, has it increased, has it decreased, what's our general state of energy? Do we still feel like we can perform exercise? Do we still feel like we can get through the day, or are we feeling just quite drained throughout the day? And those are things that we can all look at and see where do we tweak it, where do we fine tune it, and where to from here.
Now we all want to do so much better within this new year. So then what should we be doing differently?
So touching on the symptom of hopelessness, I think what we realize with hopelessness is there's a sense of negative automatic thoughts that are being just being fueled and fueled and fueled. And what we need to think about there is how do we move away from a monotonous picture of every day feels the same. And I think to do that, we start reintegrating structure, we start reintegrating routine. We say to maybe those job applications I've sent out, I'm not getting positive feedback, but that doesn't mean it should affect how I'm going throughout my day. It doesn't mean I should start waking up that much later. Doesn't mean I shouldn't get my meals in. Doesn't mean I shouldn't get my shower and hygiene in order, because all of those things have impact on how we feel. And if we're not in the right state of mind, that's going to come through in our job applications, and that's going to come through in our job interviews. So essentially what we then need to focus on is to say, let's reestablish that routine, let's reestablish that structure. And that can only be done through accurate tracking of where is your structure and where is your routine, and then setting reminders to catch yourself when you're falling off.
Now, these interventions seem almost life-changing, the ones that you've put forth to us. And definitely, I think a lot of South Africans right now, it's their aha moment, willing to put in that change and act differently so we can see different, more positive outcomes coming out of 2020. But now the next question. You've put these stringent things in place for you to get that schedule, get to that daily routine that you have highlighted. But what then if we seem to still be struggling?
Well, I would say that's where good judgment comes into play, to say, hey, I've tried these things and I've been going through this for quite a while now, and I feel like I'm going more and more into a slump. My mood just seems to be dropping further and further. My sleep's not where I need it to be. My appetite's not where I need it to be. Can I seek out some form of professional intervention? And there's many workplace structures or organizational and industrial psychology platforms, as well as employee assistance platforms. You know, every workplace setting has employee assistants that can assist with adjustment and reintegration, can assist with transitioning out of a specific role. But then we also have organizations like SADC, Lifeline, and, you know, from a more corporate work setting, we also have ICAS that can also assist quite a bit. And that's more on the professional level. But also we need to dig deep into the family and the support structures, the friends, where we say to one another, hey, I confide in you, I trust you, I'm willing to share my vulnerability, that I'm feeling quite stressed and panicked by the situation. I'm entrusting myself and sharing this in confidence. Can you please assist me? Can you be that support system that can go quite a long way for me?
Yeah, that's very important. I find that support systems are almost everything when it comes to one's productivity at the end of the day. But if we were to look at the other end of the spectrum, those that do have that job security, that do have that stable income that they can trust and believe in going into this new year, how then, or what trends then have you been picking up when it comes to people's psychological health? I know a lot of people are feeling a lot more paranoid going back to work after the festive season.
That's such a good question, because it's complete opposite end of the spectrum, but it doesn't mean it's a stress-free. It doesn't mean it's a stress-free end of the spectrum. So those individuals also go through their unique stresses and anxiety factors. I think with the sense of so many people losing loved ones and people close to them at this current moment, I think there's the sense of anxiety, increased fear, and that increased fear and anxiety is really flaring up in a way of stress. And what I would say then is we need to slowly but surely reintegrate, where it's baby steps. Speak to your employer, speak to your superior and say, hey, these are the concerns I sit with. I have potentially underlying comorbidities. I lived with loved ones that are in a high-risk group, or just generally for myself, I'm feeling quite a bit of anxiety coming back into the workplace. Can we maybe work on a blended approach to come in certain days as I slowly but surely try and adjust to the new routine?
It seems like there's so much to think about when it comes to either being employed or unemployed. But the main thing to remember, South Africa, is to keep your psychological health at a very high top performance level throughout, because you're going to need it. Thank you so much, Sikanda Kale, again helping us understand and break down what's happening right now. Goodbye.
Bye. You're most welcome. Goodbye.
Time to head back into the kitchen with Dumi.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic!
A classic range from Clover, timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Thank you so much for that, Balisa. Whilst many of us may have forgotten what the word alliteration is, well, here's a title as an example of what it actually is. Clover Classic Custard Cream Cookies. And though it may be a mouthful to say, here's some cookies that serve as a perfect reward to take us back to those back-to-school days. You remember?
100%, girl.
You remember those days, Balisa, when you were talking alliteration, synonyms. Luckily, today's recipe is not complicated at all. Very simple, very easy, and using the amazing Clover Classic Vanilla Custard.
Yeah.
So to start it off, Balisa, we've got the wet ingredients, we've got the dry ingredients, and we've also got a filling for our cookies today. So to start it off, you're going to make the filling for us. You've got some clover custard that you're going to chuck into that pot. Okay. Basically, what we want to do is we want to make a nice thick cream that's going to be sandwiched between this amazing cookie base that I'm going to be making right now. So to start it off, I've got some butter that I've basically sat out at room temperature throughout the day. The reason for that is we want it to be easily manageable in a sense. We want it to be soft enough. If it's straight from the fridge, then it's hard to maneuver, it's hard to mix in. I've just added some icing sugar in there, and as you can see, it basically just folds easily. I don't need that elbow grease. Today no elbow grease whatsoever.
Lovely. But this is definitely coming through when it comes to sweetness.
Correct.
So as soon as I've put in my Clover Classic Custard into the pot, I've put it on a very soft heat.
Correct.
Like level number 2, essentially.
Correct.
And then these other ingredients, we've got your vanilla essence.
Correct. You've got vanilla essence, and then you've also got corn flour. So basically, that's the thickening agent for our sauce, our cream filling. So all you're going to do is you can now add in your vanilla essence as well as the cornstarch, and basically just whisk that all together. It's going to start off very runny. That's fine. As it thickens up, that basically forms the consistency that we want, which is basically going to be like this. We want it to be nice and manageable, but not too hard, not too firm. So all I've done now is I've mixed in a bit of vanilla essence because it is a vanilla cookie. So we want to make sure that that vanilla is packed both in the cookie and in the cream filling that we've got.
It's also definitely coming through within the aromas here in the kitchen. It's smelling vanilla-y. I also have a little bit of a secret trick, and I heard that real estate agents do this now and again. Because the sense of vanilla just is so nostalgic and brings us back to the times where ukoko and our omas were making those delicious cookies at home. They use vanilla to kind of make people feel like the home that they're walking into during walk-ins resonates with them a little bit more. So it's all about keeping it in the family.
Correct. And you wonder why people buy homes and they're so, I feel at home, girl, it's the vanilla in there.
So why not get that same kind of mood going in your own household?
Exactly, Palisa. And the great part about this is we're using Clover Classic Custard, right? The range is so amazing that we could even use any of the other ingredients. I know I was thinking about the dairy snack where you could use that one of their flavors in here, because that would then form as maybe a peach flavored dairy snack cookie if you'd like to as well. But luckily today we're keeping it all custardy because this is also a perfect addition to your kiddies' lunch, well, for some of us. All I'm adding now is a bit of custard powder as well, and then I'm adding our flour. So now we're going to start putting this together, putting our dish together, putting our cookies together, because now we're going to start rolling it up into the beautiful cookies that we want to basically sandwich that amazing custard cream that you've made there. So I'm going to ask you to not stop stirring, because if you don't know, cornstarch is one of the few things that if you leave unattended, it'll show you flames, it'll turn into rock.
I get duly noted.
Yes, girl, so keep going in there, and I'm also just going to keep mixing in our dry ingredients here to form a nice crumbly texture. That's then going to help us make the cookies that we're going to make here. And then once it's done, I'll pop it into the oven, and then we'll start sandwiching. Luckily, I made a few beforehand, so I'll show you exactly what goes into there. And so South Africa, this is the consistency we're looking for. Nice and manageable, not too dry, not too wet. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to start forming our cookies. So you basically just roll it into nice, simple little balls like this. And then we put this onto our cookie tray that's been sprayed with non-stick spray. And then all we're going to do now is basically just roll these into little balls. And luckily, because of the kind of recipe it is, it doesn't need a lot of time. We're basically going to make sure these go into the oven to bake. What I do suggest, though, a lot of times, if you're working with this kind of recipe, put it in the fridge for a bit to set up, to be firm, so that when you bake it in the oven, it doesn't go all over the place.
Very manageable, it sounds like.
Very manageable,
It sounds like this recipe also would make the perfect midday snack. You know, something that you can have something with your tea.
Correct.
It's what it's all about here. Or, of course, for me, you know, a midnight snack as well. When I'm creeping into the kitchen, getting my hand stuck in that cookie jar, this is what I want to be enjoying.
Yes, girl, I get you. And like I was saying earlier, it's perfect for the kiddos as well. And once you've basically baked our cookies in the oven at 180 degrees for a very, very short time, it's about 10 to 12 minutes, because all we want is we want them to be nice. And the one thing, before I even fill them up, Balisa, I want to show you how light these are. They're basically very simple. I'm not using a lot of effort. Nice and airy and light. And that's basically what we're going to be filling our custard cream, our cookies with now. This beautiful cream that you're making of. I see you, girl.
100%. I'm actually so glad that you told me the tip and trick to keep stirring. I'm already seeing the consistency changing up completely when it comes to this custard. It's so much more thicker than what it was. This is the soggy gooiness that we want for that beautiful center. As you said, I can only imagine biting through it, that fluffiness that comes out from the cookie itself, and then met by this middle is perfect.
You know, and the one thing I love about these cookies is they stay fresh for up to a week. So you just put them in a nice little cookie container. They stay fresh for up to a whole week. You could actually even zhuzh it up if you like. You could add nuts if you like nuts. If you want to, you could add cranberries as well. You could basically add your own twist to it. And like I mentioned earlier, because Clover Classic has such a range, it caters for everyone's palate. So if you would perhaps want to do something else, maybe add the Clover Classic fat spread, you could also use that in the actual cookie mixture itself as well.
Beautiful.
So Palisa, there we go. These are delicious. These are tasty. These are perfect for kiddos, perfect for mommy, perfect for lunch. Like you mentioned, perfect as a midnight snack as well.
I can just imagine bonding with Ukoko if she was still alive, and of course Mama and just everyone in your life, whoever is near and dear to you. Just imagine sitting in the living room after whipping it up in the kitchen, cheersing with that beautiful tea or coffee and biting into those delicious snacks.
You know, my granny used to love baking, so this actually is a nostalgic moment for me as well. It reminds me of Ukoko, her amazing, you know that vanilla essence smell? That was basically Ukoko in the kitchen every day baking something or the other. And South Africa, if you want to try this at home, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za to get the full ingredients list. But if by any chance you missed it, here's a quick recap.
Made with love by Clover.
A detailed recipe recap. That's what I love about you, Dumi. You're meticulous. Your attention to detail is everything. So finally, one last tip when making these delicious cookies.
Do not over-mix. They're very nice and fluffy. You don't want to over-mix. You don't want to release the gluten in the flour, so be as light-handed as possible.
Beautiful.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic.
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Dumi, after the break, I'm so glad because we're going to have the beautiful opportunity to bring together this entire conversation from the top of the show. And of course, we'll be diving into all of those social media comments that our viewers have been, you know, completely just giving us from the top of the show. And I love all of the suggestions. So I'm looking forward to reading those. Afternoon Express, where Tumi, you have outdone yourself in the kitchen today. You mind giving us a recap of what we've whipped up?
Awesome, Palisa. So we've got these amazing rainbow wraps that we made earlier that basically have the freshness of fresh ingredients and the awesomeness of a fish fillet inside there. And then we've also got these amazing custard cream cookies that basically would make anyone happy, I think.
I love that. Someone is ready to eat. He has got his crockery, cutlery ready. So on Hloki's notes, let's get eating. Now, Tumi, if you were to just dish up some of that beautiful rainbow roll, I'm looking forward to trying this because this is something that I haven't tried. I have tried a lot of spring rolls back in my day, but this is just kind of a reimagined taste of it. Which one do you want, boy?
He's ready. He's not even saying anything. He's like, just give me my food.
Boy, I know ubuthi ufuni cupcake la.
There you go.
A cookie. Now you go. Oh, he is so adorable. Now, Tumi, we already know what business you are dying to try. So much so that I've got someone here on social media who's competing with you within the food truck space. That's right. If we were to look over onto social media, we've got Abram who says, I have always wanted to own my own food truck. Okay, boy. Food truck as cooking has always been a passion. Now, boy, what's a passion to you? I can see you putting your dip on the cookie.
Hey guys, yeah, no, this is a creator, basically, content creator.
So what do you have to say to other viewers just like yourself who have the same dreams?
Well, firstly, I want to say, Abram, maybe you and I should partner and do something. How's about you hit me up and we do that food truck thing? But I also believe anyone that wants to start a business, there's no better time than now. Yeah. I mean, we've seen how the economy has changed. We've seen, I feel like it's also a reminder to people to say, go for your dreams. You know, as scary as it is, this is probably the push that most people need.
And this is exactly what a top fan of ours, Cynthia, has done. If we were to just go back over to social media, she says, I started a professional organizing business because I'm just obsessed with cleaning and decluttering spaces. #Afternoon Express. I mean, Cynthia, just let me know when to drop my address and you can come on over and organize and declutter my spaces because I need it.
I know, right? Because you have those moments where you're like, I thought I was the cleanest person on the earth, and then you look at your place and you're like, what happened?
Far from it, my love, far from it. Okay, I'm just going to keep scrolling here, and we also have Jaguar, and Jaguar says, I have an aftercare for kids whose parents get home after hours and help with homework. Quit my current job. Now, that also takes a whole lot of guts. Quitting what you're doing, something that you're not too passionate about, and going for gold and your dreams.
Yeah, that's very important for people to also know that it's not always going to be easy, especially when it comes to leaving the comfort of a secure job and doing something you have absolutely no knowledge of. If I hadn't done that a couple of years ago, I probably... Okay. Yeah, he just wants to dig in South Africa. So I feel like we're wasting his time now. Leave this cutlery, my baby. Go in with your hands.
And boy, it is so delicious. You know that this is the rainbow wrap that you helped us with, and it tastes phenomenal. Let me get some of that sauce that he made, and I can give him my full rating when it comes to his help in the kitchen. Did you enjoy helping us today, boy? Was it nice? Yeah, you always have a good time in our kitchen. Now, Tumi, what do you enjoy most about the food that we whipped up today?
I think one things I like is, one, they're so quick and easy. Yeah. Both these recipes did not even take 20 minutes. They're so quick, so easy. And the one thing about them is you make the cookies, you leave them, you can have them throughout the week. The spring rolls or the wraps that we made are so simple, you know, so simple. And all the ingredients that we mentioned today could be in your freezer, could be in your fridge.
I am definitely going back for seconds when it comes to this rainbow wrap. I love the fact that the vegetables are still fresh. You can still taste and hear that crunch every time your teeth dig into it. It is beautiful, it is fresh, it is hearty, especially now in the summer season. This is what I need so much more of.
I agree with you, Palisa, because you know that I'm on that health journey, right? So this right here is probably something that I can keep doing. You just fill it up with all the veggies and just eat, just indulge. You won't feel like...
Now, for some of us who are not on a health journey, these cookies are everything. This is delicious, Tumi.
Thank you, Pali.
And not too sweet. You know I don't have a sweet tooth, so this is that perfect in-between when it comes to sweetness, but something satisfying at the end of a very long day.
Okay, Chef Hloki, how are you doing over there? Are you enjoying it? Okay. He's doing more disassembling than assembling of the dish.
And I am here for it. I'm here for it. So, Dumi, any of your business kind of goals that you want to achieve this year?
To be honest, I'd like to keep it simple. Like I said, I'd like to get the food truck. Clearly, I already have a sous chef, so all I need to do is just get that food truck and get it going.
Yeah, you just need the help, and you've got the help. So I'm also here to support you and hold you accountable. For myself, Sana, I'm just trying to do incredible where I am. I actually do have a couple of ideas that I'm going to be dropping on my social media platforms. So South Africa, head over. We're going to continue this conversation throughout the evening. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to all of our guests who also stopped by and gave us those tools that we need when it comes to startups and being entrepreneurs. And thank you, Mzansi, for making my day every day just by tuning in. But good night, stay safe. Dumi, as we always say, happy eating. Absolutely. Goodbye. Bye-bye, boy.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.